man. And the adventure begins. So a little while ago, I borrowed a guitar from the guys over at Novo. I always wanted to try one and really fell in love with it. Unfortunately, it was one that I could not purchase myself because it was a prototype and they did not want to sell that one. So I was like, well, maybe I'll order one down the road. And today's the day. So I'm gonna be going over there for the next few months, recording the process of this being built. We get to see it all. It is fascinating. You're gonna see just how hands-on and how many people work on these guitars. And it's really what makes them so special. And I think we're about to make the perfect rock guitar. So let's do it. All right, the process begins. We got Travis, Javon.
Hello.
All right, so where does this all start?
Great. So first, all I need is, let me put your info.
So,
Can I get your mother's maiden name? That's the one thing we need
Yeah.
for any build.
Just for the record's sake.
But yeah, this is it. You know, start putting in your specs here,
Okay.
and then you'll be in the queue. You are interested in the Solus
Yes.
M1.
Yes. That is the one. So how many options are there?
On the Solus, it's finish, pickguard material, the neck options, scale length, fingerboard wood, figured maple or standard maple on the neck. Frets, if you want medium or jumbo frets.
Okay.
Neck thickness, medium or chunky.
Do you know what was on the one that I borrowed?
Chunky.
Chunky?
Yeah,
So
that was chunky.
whatever that was.
Great. Inlays, dots or
Yeah.
blocks.
Just good old dots on that.
Great.
So it's like there's just enough specs. It's not too much to be overwhelming to where you're like...
Not on this. We do the single, the Fralin Dog Ear P90 is the pickup on here.
Yeah.
There's no neck pickups. There's no, switching or anything like that. Knobs, traditionally we'll, just do like the black witch hat knobs, but if you wanted Mustang knobs or...
No, I think the witch hats are cool.
It's great. Rosewood board. Yeah.
Yep.
Great. So really, I just need to know what finish you want. And the pick card. And we're pretty much good to go.
Yeah. So what was the color that we talked about? I sent you the picture of it, but then
It's a green.
You mentioned that it was similar to something else.
Yeah. It doesn't seem too far off of like a Cadillac
Yeah.
green.
Cadillac, we could
we
do
have that
Cadillac's
at
in here. Yeah, we've got that Cadillac J.
It's not quite as sparkly, but it does
Oh,
have a
yeah.
little bit of metallic to it. It's hard in this light, but...
Oh, and you said you had the sheet?
Yep. So that's the spec sheet. You can keep that.
Oh, cool.
And then this is our internal spec sheet that we'll give to the production guys when they're ready to
get down. And
get down.
Get down.
Let's walk
Cool.
next door.
It's in shop flow too. I just put it in shop flow now. So
4559?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks,
All
Dave.
right. Thank you, buddy.
Cool.
So these are all future guitars. I'll take this one. What is this
This is the tempered pine.
This is pine? Oh, so this is going to be a guitar.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, exactly.
This is mine, lucky number 16. And then you got bodies cut out over here. And then those are the necks. Perfect. Hey there everyone, gonna hop in here real quick because this is the first day that I was there shooting, and what I didn't know was just how loud the inside of the shop was going to be. So pretty much the mics that I was using, the lapel and the shotgun, pretty much useless for this part because there's so much background noise you can't actually hear what we're saying. So we already have a rough cut of the body here, and I wasn't able to be there for every single kind of like tiny process of actually cutting the blank out, but they're getting ready to put it back on the CNC and do a more kind of fine-tooth cut of the body before we go into sanding and all the other steps. So let's go ahead and get to it. Look. Into the paint layer.
You want to show Rob the sample that you sprayed?
Yeah, so Travis kind of gave me an idea what you're looking for. I didn't know if this was in the vein of what you're looking at. I mean, there's adjustments that can be made.
Yeah, I mean, that looks perfect. That looks just like the green pretty much that I sent you. I like the metal flake in it.
Yeah, it's got like a, so you know what I do is I lay down the color, and then once the color's laid down, I come back with some micro flake mixed in with lacquer. I put it over the top. So you can mix it in with the paint. The problem is when you do that, it makes the paint kind of grainy. You put it on with the lacquer over the top of it, it'll lay down a lot better.
Okay. So lengthy process.
No, it sounds like it is, and I tend to over explain things. So just bear with me on that. They're all used to it.
I mean, but I think that's the cool thing though is that hearing the process, because I think there's so much more hands-on than what people think about with the guitar,
Yeah, I mean, and here with what we do finishing wise, it's just a pretty simple situation. A sanding sealer, and then with solid colors, a white base coat, and then color, probably around 4 ounces of paint itself, and then, about 3 rounds of top coat, and that's it. I mean, it's really thin.
We do an employee guitar program, so after people are here for a year, they get to spec out their very own Novo. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So I'm actually just at the point where I'm
getting ready to
thinking
spec
about
one.
mine. Yeah, I just passed a year back in November, so I'm gonna leave you guys to it.
Okay.
I'm gonna run. I got some stuff I gotta take care of, but
Sure.
see you before you leave.
Yeah, buddy.
So I got the neck and everything prepped up for you.
Okay.
So basically, this process start to finish, I've already kind of done some of the prep work. So I typically put on 2 coats at a time, let it set for about like 10 minutes or so. I know that's not what other companies typically do, but because we have a quicker turnaround time, I want to give as much of a chance for that lacquer, all the solvents to release and things like that.
Right.
Just kind of give it a break. So it's basically 4 coats of color, and then we'll come back with the lacquer with the microflake mixed in with it.
And we were just talking, you said you could do anywhere between
Typically
two guitars. What if they're all metal flake? Does that increase the time quite a bit?
No, not really. I mean, it's pretty much the same game. I think the time tends to vary when you get into things like burst and things that are like the top is a different color than the body. It takes a little bit more prep work. Give it a good shake. Make sure none of that metallic flakes on the bottom. Good arm workout. Like I said, I'm gonna spray a couple of coats. Let it sit for a little bit. I'm gonna mix up some of this microflake into kind of like this. I use this for my sample. The best test you can do is once you get it in there and get it all nice and stir it up. Look at it on the stick and see that'll show you what your coverage roughly is gonna look like.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the camera's not picking it up the best.
So I'm gonna kick this fan on.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna do what I normally do.
Nice. So what's the hardest part of the distressing process for you? Like, say you have someone who gets a heavy.
Yeah, definitely doing a heavier. Oh, thankfully, we don't do heavies really anymore. But even just a medium is a lot of work. Definitely like scraping and stuff that we do for that is probably the hardest part. I think the most like tedious thing is just all the sanding.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know,
is it like a little goes a long way kind of thing? Like you just have to like.
It's just I don't know. It's one of those constant like repetitive processes that gets like really tiring.
These
are
are
like
shiny.
It's from touching them. This one's all shiny from. I always hold it the same way. Put my thumb here.
Oh shit.
And like kind of twirl it around, but yeah, it's all like shiny right here from my thumb being on it. Just wearing it down.
That's awesome.
This is content gold.
Touching
right
it
now.
every day for 3 years.
Really, it's cool.
And I'm back. So an air compressor kicked on during the video and kind of made the audio unusable, but I wasn't able to be there for the actual distressing of my guitar, but I did catch a few others, and there's a lot more thought and process to this than what you might actually even realize. You know, some people do not like distressing on their guitars, some people do. I like it to be lightly done. It just makes the guitar feel really broken in. They freeze the guitars, they heat them up with, you know, heat guns and do all kinds of stuff to it, the different rocks and all this stuff. And I just thought it was really fascinating looking at it because, like I said, you know, it's just lightly, mine's very, very lightly reliced, and it just feels really broken in, and this is really the process that gives you that worn, played-in feel. So after this, we're on to setup. We've almost got ourselves a guitar.
I've seen some like razor bladey, and I think it's so hard to like make it look random.
Yeah, you end up doing the same shapes over and over.
Yeah.
The freezer, while it's not like a foolproof method, it definitely seems to work a little bit better.
All right, so we're on our way back over to Novo. Today, they're going to set the guitar up. I'm going to actually get to play it for the first time, so I'm pretty pumped up to the guitar all put together. And I think just one more trip over there for QC, and then the guitar's going to be home. We're going to write some music with it, so let's go. So how many guitars do you typically do in a day? Fully
me
assembled.
Personally, I'm probably at around 1.5 shooting for 2.
Okay.
So
it takes a little while to go through the entire process.
yeah, and it totally depends on the model. So this is one of the shortest, I would say, just because you don't have as much wiring, you don't have a switch, you're not putting on as much hardware. You know, obviously every guitar is going to be a little bit different, everything moves around a bit, and we definitely, you know, we set them up fully and do like our own little QC check before we send it to final QC. But for the most part, we have a ballpark for just about everything that we do. So heights, lengths, how long we cut the strings, everything. This is only the last little bit, so sometimes when I talk to people, they're like, oh, it's so cool that you build guitars. I'm like, well, I assemble them at the end, but a lot happens, you know, before it even gets to here.
For sure.
And really repetition is key.
So you're kind of widening the slot. Kind of more like a feel thing, though. Like you're just like, you're probably used to the way the furrows or whatever those would be called.
Tuner bushings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've kind of treated this edge a little bit ahead of time because we don't want the paint to chip out. Different paints are also more or less sensitive to this kind of thing. Also weather, you know, plays a role sometimes on how paint dries and how dry it is in this room and stuff. But this is just kind of to prevent stuff cracking, even if it's just the paint.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I know it's going to need at least 2 turns, and I grab it, everything is waxed just to kind of help with that. I kind of know how low I want them to sit before we go push them in, so just going to take a little more out.
So you have tuners in here of varying kind of like relicking or distressing?
They're staggered. So.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
You have your E and A, B and E, and your D and G right here.
Oh, okay.
So you'll see in a minute they'll be at slightly different heights. So yes, they are just at varying distress levels because that's just kind of how it happens.
Yeah.
If you're working with that stuff. So, you know, we get a little batch. You have a little something to choose from. I kind of just look at how dark or splotchy they are, very technical terms, and just try to match up, you know, 6 that look good together.
Well, which might not sound like a lot, but to me, I think people appreciate that stuff because it just makes every guitar like a one-of-one situation.
Exactly.
And
I think this might be my favorite part.
Is it really picking out the hardware?
Yeah, well, maybe that was too strong of a statement. I shouldn't say that. Like, there's a lot of favorite parts, but I do think it's special to go through and think about what you're putting together.
It is, and like I said, it's to me, it's these little things that people don't get to see. That you know, a mass-produced guitar, they're not doing that. They're just
Exactly.
grabbing and going.
Again, once you tighten them more, wax kind of squeezes out. Get that out of there. I just kind of look through and make sure my cardigan is sitting. Yep. I'm just gonna do everything. All right, we're gonna set this neck aside in a second.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab the body. And then, you know, just to keep things safe, I like to put it back in the rack until it goes on. Not all, but most screws are just waxed to be safe.
Better for the finish. So.
Just to make sure, you know, it goes in smoothly. Yeah. All of this stuff I kind of pre-picked, so, you know, similar thing with these screws. I'll go through, look at the heads, kind of make sure they're just similar.
Yeah.
As I look at the center, I think these look alike. Typically, I risk it and I go as short as possible to waste as little as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't want you to see me fail, so I have a little bit of extra in there.
There's no pressure, but everything's documented.
Yeah.
And I will use every
It's all going on the
second
internet.
of this footage.
No. Don't tell me that. That's good. Okay, those are the little things.
Yeah, hopefully that looks a little better.
Yeah, that looks right.
Sweet.
See?
It worked.
I knew something was off.
Yeah, it worked.
Come on. There we go.
Also has a cat named Stevie.
Okay, this is getting a little bit ridiculous.
Right?
I know. That's why she does it.
I'm probably blocking most of this with my chonky hands. Here I come.
Nice.
Alright. First look at the git.
Look at that thing.
Alright. Put the neck on.
Just checking the situation.
The first tap I did, I was like, oh, I don't have the foam. Nope, need to take
that
out.
Actually, I think they're all pretty good. For whatever reason, I'm feeling I'll have to see if I can even get this off.
Good fit.
Because this makes me nervous. I feel like
No, brownies.
anytime, yeah. I think at a certain. Okay, there we go. Yeah. You won't believe it.
I'm about to tape off the fingerboard.
Okay.
Because I'm getting ready to shape the nut.
I thought that's what it was, but I wasn't sure.
Even better because the calipers weren't even
Weren't
on.
on? Yeah, they weren't even on.
And 3. Alright, we'll see. I can get my tummy grumbling in there.
Last night, that's why I couldn't come back here. Like, shoot,
I
Uh-huh.
would say it's
I'm flying from California.
You know what I mean?
Just to visit? Or like...
No, he was here
work
for a
or-
conference or something, but
Okay.
this is where I feel like.
Alrighty.
Oh, you threw them off on there.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I was wondering how many.
Yes. We'll set up just
Pre setup.
pre-nut slotting. Just so that wherever I take them is, you know, pretty much spot on. Might just give it a quarter of a turn. Yeah, so basically I am gonna repeat all of these steps after I slot the nut.
Mhm.
But it's nice to get one in right before.
That's okay. Shit. Okay, you're good. Oh, that's right.
That's it. It's like, no.
Hey, it does what it's supposed to do.
Hey, it's a
Woohoo,
guitar.
It's a guitar.
It is. Man, it's so light.
Mm-hmm. But that's
That
it.
was what jumped out at me at the when I borrowed. I was like, this thing's like
Just
it almost
alive.
sounds like a semi-hollow. Like
Yeah.
it's so.
Who wins between you and me? We're both 0.1 away.
What?
6.1!
Okay.
Was that the first thing I
That
said?
feels pretty light. Yeah.
Wow, that's the lowest I've seen in a while.
Okay.
Congrats.
So this is my guitar, but Travis was telling me they started doing. So what is this called on these?
So this is called a German carve.
Oh, it looks amazing.
Yeah, it's an option that we've had for a number of our models for a long time, and it used to just be only available like as a custom order. But this year when we introduced the Nucleus models, DF and the rest of the team, we were all talking about, you know, what are they going to be? What are the specs going to be? And we landed on actually making the German carve a standard option that would just come kind of as the default on Nucleus guitars.
Okay. So can you still get one like mine? Like just the normal...
With no carve? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You can, if you custom order a Solus, you know, you can choose whether or not you want the German carve.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, they look awesome. This is actually a really good comparison. A green one. And then there's my green one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Tele with a P90?
Yeah, so this is the F2, new for this year. DF kind of re-engineered this, and along with the German carve, you know, threw a Fralin P90 in the neck there. That's a 15% underwound P90, so it really balances well with that Tele bridge pickup.
I was going to ask, because mine is the overwound.
Yes.
And I was going to say, man, that's a hot neck for that Tele pickup, but so they're going with an underwound one.
15% underwind. Yours, the dog ear on the M1, is actually a 5% overwind.
Yeah.
And that's just 5% more tone.
You know, I mean, do you want more tone? I said yes, so we went with that exact pickup.
Extra tone.
Extra tone. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Final phase. Take this thing home. Let's go. What a journey we've been on with this guitar. Man, I gotta start off by saying I cannot thank the guys over at Novo enough for letting me go over there. So I don't even know how many trips I took over there, because they're on the other side of town from me. We had to plan so much stuff around, like, this process is happening now. Okay, I can be there this day. Does that work? And like I said, we had to coordinate so many schedules to get this done, because they took a lot of extra time so we could record this stuff to show you guys. And I mean, they just made such an absolutely killer guitar. It is incredible how resonant it is. I mean, it's the loudest guitar unplugged I think I've ever played. So light. You saw the weight of 6'1". It just weighs nothing. Hopefully you guys really got something out of the video. I'm going to be posting an extended cut of this over on my Everything membership. For the members, they'll get a longer cut of the build process. But what you guys saw, I mean, look at how many people had their hands on this guitar in the process of building it. Like, it makes you appreciate these things. They're made in the USA. They put so much attention to detail. It's pretty wild, honestly. Like, talking to them, like how particular they are about everything about the guitars. So they just did such a killer job on this. And I don't know, man, it's got all the vibe, all the tone. I love that it makes me, or at least I feel like I play a little bit differently on it, It's just inspiring new ideas, and I always say I think the ultimate testament to a piece of gear is, does it inspire you to play, and does it inspire you to write music? And that's what this thing does. So anyways, you've actually heard this quite a few times. It's been on rhythm tracks and other songs I've done. You just haven't seen it on camera just yet. But now, you'll be seeing it all the time. So if you'd like to get a Novo of your own, it is linked down below for you. And I'll be posting an extended cut of the build process for my membership people over on my website. That'll be linked down below for you as well if you want to check that out. And I think we can get on here, and I'm just gonna keep playing this bad mamma jamma of a guitar. I'll play you guys out. I'm plugged into the Marshall Super Lead back there, into the aux, into this. So see you guys.